I hope you're working in NAT Sundance.
And welcome back to In the Can. I am here with director Alejandro Fernandez Almendaña. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, very good.
Good to see you. And your film, Much Ado About Nothing, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows this is not Shakespeare.
Not really. I mean, except for the misspelling in the in the subtitles. That's it.
You can always find Shakespeare and everything, though,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you've done this before. This is an interesting story because you like to write and direct those types of films that kind of have a little twist and turn, and they get kind of dark. And the way I like to put it is you write a story, then you put a screwdriver in there and just kind of start screwing around a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like I find something in real life that I work with, and in real life, I think it's like a kind of screw up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a
screwdriver.
And this is a story that was based on a real thing that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to give anything away, obviously, but tell us a little bit about the premise of this story.
Yeah, this is based on a real case that happened in Chile. It has to do with a rich kid from son of an important senator who had a hit and run incident. He ran over a guy. He killed him. Leave it in the road to die, basically, and then he was completely freed from anything, because he was able. The lawyers were able to kind of prove that he didn't do it, in a way that, which basically proves that if you have money, you can basically get away with anything.
Right,
yeah.
and you've got a kid here, wonderfully played by your actor. He's a sweet kid.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on summer vacation. He's at the summer house. Pretty much his life is all about just hanging out, drinking, hanging out with girls, and he's a sweet kid.
Yeah.
And he just kind of gets caught up in something.
Exactly.
But you can see the manipulation there.
Yeah.
And you did such a great job of building it slowly.
Yeah.
Because you really weren't sure. First of all, the phone call, for example,
exactly.
and then it just, and again, I don't want to say anything, but it's just, it's a nice, easygoing, non-hurried story.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because I think there's also, in the middle of the film, there's a quote, there's a kind of moment of, when the film comes open up, and there's a quote from Marcel Proust that I really admire, that I said something that when you think about wickedness, it's never like the wicked man is having pleasure by doing what he's doing, it's basically things that happen. So I think that's what I wanted to showcase in the film, that even though what ended up happening is really terrible, the people involved in that never had that intention to specifically harm, in this case at least, it's something that has to do with power and politics, the way that they kind of create this kind of thing that it's devoid from the real pain, like it's like when you have a war now that you don't actually see it, you send drones to something, so to kind of separate from the pain. So I think, and in that sense, for me, it was really important to have a main character that is not the kind of bad guy that you see having pleasure in being bad and manipulating things, but he's kind of sweet kid, being played by other powers.
And it kind of really does a great job of painting kind of that reactionary human quality that we all have, right? The bad stuff doesn't come out proactively.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always the way we react to situations.
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it?
I mean, for me, that has a lot to do with the actor, with Agustin, because he's 22. He was 21 at the time of the shooting. He's really young, and he has this, his kind of multi-layer face. If you shot him from the front a little bit, the bob, he looks like a little scared kid, and if you look from the profile, he looks like a grown-up man. So I was playing with that during the shooting, getting these different feelings that he's able to generate on the audience. So I think I was playing with that also to create this kind of feeling.
Yeah, and that came out in the other relationship that he had, not just with his friends, but his mother. I mean, he still treats him like a 5-year-old. I mean, just petting him in bed and stroking his hair. Tell me about your process with your actors, because it seemed like the group of actors that you had, especially in the beach and the party scenes, really had a great camaraderie. Did they know each other before they came out? What was your process there?
Yeah, I mean, we shot this film in 10 days. So we
10
had
days?
Yeah, 10 days.
Wow.
We had no money to shoot it. I mean, we made a crowdfunding. We get like $27,000, and we decided, okay, let's do it. Most of the people, most of the cast, you know, there were some of them that were kind of well-known actors in Chile, but they decided to work on deferrals, you know, like not you know, okay, let's do it, and when there is money, we do something, you know. But
Right, yeah.
So they worked for us, and since I knew that the first half of the film has to be a party, you know, like it has to be free-flowing, like having a good time. So basically, what we did is that we have fun, you know, shooting, you know, like we create the situations. That's what I do, you know. I worked before a lot with non-professional actors, so I kind of developed this system where we start doing something. We create this environment where they feel comfortable, when they can talk, when they can drink if they are drinking, you know, dancing if there's dance, you know. We record everything with music, with actual music, and then for the post-production was a pain in the ass, you know. It was really difficult to get that synchronized thing, but I prefer to have that kind of lively feeling during the party. So at the end, you know, there was a scene where they're dancing in the kind of disco place, you know, and at the end of that shooting, we put the camera down and everybody started dancing in the crew, you know. So we had fun, you know, doing it.
Created the right environment.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a look at it now. Let's take a short look at Alejandro's film, Much Ado About Nothing. It's interesting, you know, there's a couple of things here. One, you have the general kind of basically the cover-up, right?
Yeah.
And I won't go more into that. But it's really interesting, too, to see the different forces that are on this young man.
Yeah.
Parents, lawyers, friends, everybody trying to push him in different ways. And he's, like you said, he's 21 years old.
Yeah.
It's really a cool kind of insight into his character, where you would never want anybody, especially a young man, to be put in that position.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I think the tagline of the film is like young, reckless, corruptible. I think that's because I think there's a point in everybody's life, I think, when you have to face this kind of pressures and decide what you want to do. If you want to go with what you morally think is the right thing to do, or what is convenient for the people around you and for the powers around you. And I think this kid takes a decision I think most people in his situation will take, you know, especially in his upper class, you know, kids, when they you know, you have here the case in the U.S., you know, the famous case of this kid, where the hit and run he had in Mexico, and then they plead affluenza, you know, what is that? You know, he's been spoiled, basically.
Yeah.
So I think at that moment, it's very kind of, you know, this kind of slippery moral road where you cannot judge actually the kid, because he's also he's taking a stand, and there's a moment in the film where you're hanging, you know, what is the decision he's going to make, and I think what he decides at the end has what is happening most of the time, I think.
Well, it's certainly a character we can relate to, and I think that's what makes good film, right? Good storytelling is you actually care about the character. The film is called Much Ado About Nothing. Alejandro, thank you for being here. Good luck throughout the week.
Yeah.
We'll have more in the can after this. Stay tuned.